let's now talk about the voice, because this is a nice section to talk about it.
Sound check.
Well, g'day there. Welcome back to another vocal analysis here at Voice Essentials. Another Julianne San Jose performance. This one is really interesting, and I won't give away, just in case you haven't ever seen this performance before. I will not spoil it yet. You don't have to wait until the very end of the video to get the interesting aspect of this. It comes up pretty quickly, but I won't tell you what it is just yet. This is her studio rendition of the song that was originally covered by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Die With a Smile. And it's, I think it definitely showcases the multiplicity of Julianne's performance skills, musicianship skills, as far as her. I'm starting to give things away. I'll stop. Let's get into it, and then we can then I can talk about what we're watching. Here we go. I like that guitar, Taylor.
I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye. I don't know what it all means, but since I survived, I realized wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow, so I'ma love you every night like it's the last night, like it's the last night. If the
Hang on a second. Wasn't she just singing? So here's the interesting part of this. We get to see her performing on a number of different instruments: guitar, drums, and in a moment we'll see her on keyboard. It shows the lovely multiplicity of her skill. I think that's really cool. The drumming is relatively, in the scheme of drummers, is relatively simplistic, but it's solid. The guitar work is relatively simplistic, but solid. And the piano work, maybe it gets more complex as we get into it. Maybe it does. We'll have to wait and see. But we're here for the voice, right? As we are. We're a Learn to Sing channel. And this is just interesting. So there's been multiple takes done of this performance. It is the only way they could do what they are showing us on the screen. Let's continue and we'll talk about it.
world was ending, I'd wanna be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through, I'd wanna hold you just for a while and die with a smile. If the world was ending, I'd wanna be next to you. Lost in the words that we scream.
It's interesting because it's being done as it's being done. We know it's been worked on in post, because that's how you stitch all this together. I'm particularly interested in the mics that are being used. The mics that we're looking at are very much performance mics, particularly the one on the guitar stand. This particular mic, I'm not familiar with I don't even know what that is. Maybe you know what that type of mic is. Leave your comments below. Whoop! I'm dropping things. The funny thing, the interesting thing about that, not funny, the interesting thing about the mics is there's a reason why we use performance mics for performance and recording studio mics for recording, is because they have different levels of sensitivity, and they, a recording mic, more often than not, they're condenser mics. Not always. They sometimes can be just dynamic, and sometimes they're ribbon mics, but they have the ability to really capture just the slightest nuance and what have you of the voice, whereas a performance mic has the ability to almost not capture all of that. Otherwise, it would, if you're in a live setting, it's going to amplify everything around it, and we only want it to capture the voice. So that's the reason for the difference in the choice of mics. But when we use a performance mic to record with, we're a little bit restricted. The sound engineer will be a little bit more restricted in what color and resonance they can capture, and it's not impossible to work with, but it's a little bit harder. And so this choice of microphone is interesting.
I don't even wanna do this anymore, 'cause you already know what you mean.
Oh, nice
to me.
harmony work.
And our love's the only one worth fighting for. Wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow, so I'ma love you every night like it's the last night, like it's the last night. If the world was ending.
I'm listening to, I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what track was laid first. That's an interesting question, isn't it? Which then leads me to go, okay, let's say they laid a scratch track to a click. So what they've done, Julianne and her production team, they will have had a click track that's keeping time. Then, and I'm just presupposing here, it could have been done completely different to what I'm suggesting, but it hopefully gives us some insight into the challenge of doing a recording like this, but also the fact that it has to be heavily post-produced. And then Julianne might have, with guitar to the click, sung what we refer to in the biz as a scratch track, and that is, it's just a reference guide to then perhaps play the drums, perhaps, or because that would then allow her to then play in a real definite timing with the guitar and the piano. Did she do, I think then she would have to do the guitar, and then she would have to lay the piano. But given the fact that she's doing, and I'd have to go back, and we're not going to do this, but we have to go back and have a listen. Is she singing melody on guitar the entire time? I don't think so. I think she's singing harmony on the guitar at certain times, which means she's either sung the heart, like as she's laying that first track for the guitar, she's singing the harmony, she's singing the melody, and then going to the harmony when she knows she's going to need the harmony to the piano, or she's laid the guitar track to the drums that has been laid to the scratch and the click, and then she's then laid the guitar, then she's laid the piano, and the piano she's done that, and then she's come back and laid the guitar a second time. I would be fascinated to learn exactly how this was done. to find out what the process was. It shows that it's not simply a matter of shooting this 3 times, right? Just so you can, have all 3 videos laid over each other and cut them together and have them look as good as they do. There's a little bit more to it than that.
I wanna be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through, I'd wanna hold you just for a while and die with a smile.
Let's now talk about the voice, because this is a nice section to talk about it. This is a really nice example of why I've really come to appreciate Julianne and her singing, because it has a lovely tone. She approaches those higher sections with some real class. I think, driven by the recording circumstance, the vocal in the recording is a bit thinner than we would normally hear, but that's the recording process at play, and perhaps the mics that have been chosen that lend to there being a bit of a narrowness in the tone, because I've certainly heard Julianne's voice before a bit fuller in its resonance, but nonetheless I enjoy listening to her.
The party was over and our time on earth was through. I'd wanna hold you just for a while and die with a smile. If the world was ending, I'd wanna be
Interesting to hear her voice go to unison there. She's obviously got a good sense of humor. That's fun. Interesting. I found that performance interesting, yes, from a vocal standpoint, but more so from the recording process. I think that's, there are some technical challenges. And I dare say, and again, you've heard me talk about, pitch correction in post, and I personally don't have a challenge with it. I certainly don't have a challenge with it when it's applied to ones like Julianne, who can sing, at a professional standard, and we just add some spit and polish with some pitch correction in post. Almost certainly, and I can't say definitely because I don't know I didn't stand over the audio engineer as they were mixing down and doing the edits. It's almost certainly got to have been pitch corrected to get, because she doesn't get to sing with herself, like she does, but she doesn't. But still, very clever. I enjoyed that. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you thought. That was, she's a talented young woman. She's literally, she was, I think, 30 at the recording of this, because it was only in 2024 that she did it. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed today's vocal analysis, and I very much look forward to seeing you in the next one. So don't forget to subscribe. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.